All right. Looks like it's there.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Let me turn that off. Still should be on there live. So we will get it ready to start.
Hit
Let's
record.
let's go ahead and record and let everybody in. All right, everyone. Oops, what is that all about? Hey, Elvia, you need to make me host, okay?
You
Because
are.
am I? Because it's not showing me as host. Hang on 1 second here. Let me change the view then because it's giving me a weird, wacky view. Huh, that's weird. I got the other thing on the screen. I don't know why. Are you 100% sure I'm the host?
Yes, you are.
All right. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm looking at a different screen. I'm flying blind here. Let me try it this way. All right, everyone. Hope everybody having a good week. Happy Thursday. I don't know what's going on with this. I got one solid picture on my screen and it's not what I want to see. Give me 1 second to figure out why I am getting the speaker view as Elvia instead of me. That's what I was saying, Elvia. I was giving you as a speaker view. So let's do it this way. Let me pin this. Hang on, hold on 1 second. All right, here we go. Again, let's get rolling here. So I am super excited. We got 3 deals we're going to go through today. Let's see if we can do this. I got so many things hitting my phone right now. It's amazing. I got people blowing up my phone. I got insurance issues going on with Florida and North Carolina. So we're gonna zip right through this, guys. Hopefully, we can get you guys some deals, show you some stuff. Let me just text him real quick. Hang on 1 second here. All right, we are good. It's the problem with doing stuff live. But hey, deal's got to be done. They're asking for money, want to know where we are. So let's get right into it. So I am going to share my screen. And if you guys got any questions, if we go along, let me turn on my do not disturb. Hey Siri, turn on do not disturb. Make sure this is on because I want to get bothered on this. All right, good. Let's do this. We're going to go into 3 deals here. We're going to go through them fairly quick. If you haven't seen this before, you can go back into the YouTube channel where we got longer videos that break things out. But this is really about showing deals. These 3 deals right here, they're all available. If anybody wants to partner on them, wants to be a lender on them, wants to be a buyer on them, wants to do whatever they want to do on them, we can do that. So I am going to share my screen here. Give me 1 second. Why is that screen up? And I am just not, my mouse isn't working. And oh man, what is going on today? Technology. Come on, I can't get to my screen. There it is. Give me 1 second. Go back. Go to daily value. Okay, I think I have what I need. Let's go back. Document screen. This mouse is just not cooperating. All right, here we go. You should be able to see my screen. You should be able to see the deal evaluator software. So like I said, we got 3 deals here today. 2 of them are seller finances. We're going to get the seller to carry back. And the third one is a sub 2 deal. So this one right here is a property that we just got under contract, got access to. It's a townhome in Rowlett, which is out on Lake Ray Hubbard, out just east of Dallas. And here's the terms of the deal. So let's just go through this real quick, and you guys decide if it's a deal or not. I know what it is for me. I wish I could keep all these things. I really do. And I just need to stop doing what I'm doing with you guys on these calls, be quite honest with you, and go raise my capital and just fund every stinking one of these because these are absolutely no-brainer deals. So here it is. The as-is value is 235, ARV 245. The monthly rent on this is actually more than this. It's about $2,300. Okay, this is a tweener one. Might be something because there's no HOA restrictions. and the HOA is only like 60 or 70 bucks a month, this could be a very good deal to keep in a portfolio if you have the capital to gap fund it. Most people do not. So then when you got to bring a private money lender, and these deals don't work long term because you're not going to refinance out of the deal. So what is this deal look like? Well, it's a owner finance deal, and here is the terms of the deal. We're buying it for $230,000. We got cash going to the agent of 7,000, cash and assignment fee going another 10,000. Got $4,500 in closing costs. $45,000 is going to the seller. That $45,000 is going to wipe out a very small first lien position. So when this is done, it's a free and clear property. Super important when we go borrow this money, which is at $66,500 right now. Okay. And we're going to talk about that here in a couple of screens. So why is this a deal? Well, it's a deal because the seller is going to carry the balance. My mouse is just not wanting to move on this today. Is going to carry the balance at 185 at 2% on a 252-month term and a 180-month balloon. Okay. People go, how'd you come up with 252 months? Well, because when it was negotiated on payment, $900 a month. And we know what when you know what the monthly payment is, and you know what the loan amount is, and you know what the interest rate is, you solve for term. Most people solve for payment. You could solve for interest rate, you can solve for term, you can solve for payment, you can solve for loan amount. You can solve any one of those four if you know what the other three are. So we solved it for term 252 with a 180-month balloon. That's the deal as it sits. Okay. So $900 goes to the seller P&I, free and clear, when we close on it. We got in here, we got a sale price. If we kept it at 240, might be worth 245, 250, whatever. Got it at 240, got $24,000 down, which is 10%. We've got two loans at 9.95, anything under $300,000 in the major markets in Texas. I'm writing these things at 9.95. Okay. I don't need to write it for 9.95, but I'm going to, because all the back end values on the notes, if you need to hypothecate, sell it, partial it, all those things, don't get yourself in a bad situation. I mean, we would hold this property longer to get to the term we want, to get to the deal that we're looking for. So 360-month term, my payment coming in 1,572 on the first, 314 on the second. We're not going to talk about specifically why we're doing two notes. Same rate and term. It could be one note. It could be five notes. We've done deals with as many as four wraps on the back end and sort of split the pie up amongst multiple owners in the deal. But that's for another conversation. What else do we have here? So now we need to figure out, right now we know we need $66,500. How do we get to $66,500? Well, we go borrow it. But since this is a seller financing deal, in the way that we structure the deals, or the way I structure the deals, the way I do all this, I subordinate the seller to the second lien position. I get a substitution of collateral if I want to do it. This is all stuff that no one ever teaches you or tells you how to do. It's all the deal after the deal of the back end. I will control this property if I choose for up to 500 years if I want to. The only way that I can't control it is if the person I sell this property to decides they want to pay it off with cash. It's the only way. Because if they want to refinance it, I'll be the bank. I'll refinance it. I'll beat any rate that they have. If they want to sell it, guess what? I'm your buyer. What do you owe me? You owe me $230. Okay. And you want $250? Great. Here's your $20,000. This is what we do. Okay. Again, that's not the purpose of the evaluation here. I'm just telling you that when you understand how to structure deals as a bank, this is a bank transaction. This is not a real estate transaction. The sooner you guys can understand how to be a bank instead of how to be an investor, you will absolutely crush it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. It's up to you guys to determine if you want to be a bank, if you want to take the risk of the bank, if you want to be compliant like a bank, if you want to do all the things that a bank does. Most people do not. Okay. But if you do, this is what we can help you with. So continuing on. So I'm going to have to borrow, if I'm the borrower, $66,500. I'm going to use my own money, borrow it from whoever. So in this example right here, I'm going to pay 11%. Could I go borrow it at 7%? Sure. Could I pay 15%? Absolutely. I'm doing 11%. I'm going to put my lender in the first lien position, my private money lender. Okay. Or I can create the note and leverage the note, same difference. 11% first lien position. Okay. For $66,500. Now, you don't have to know very much about anything, but now I would ask the question, how many people would lend $66,500 and get an 11% return against a property that's worth $250,000? Where there is no risk. Where's the risk? That borrower defaults? You only have $66,000 at risk. Okay. You got a $250,000 asset. That's why these deals and put them in these positions, you can't put a dollar value on it. You have to be able to look at what the model does, and the better job you can of structuring the deal on the front side and wrapping it correctly and underwriting the buyer and stacking the collateral file and the 500 damn pages of documents that goes along with it, they're doing it correctly. This is the value in these deals. Okay. This is why we absolutely crush it on these types of deals. And I'm going to break this out here as we go along. So I'm going to borrow 100 or 66,500, 11%. I'm going to pay my payment on that fully amortized, 180-month term, 180-month payments worth of payments. $755 a month is my P&I, and it still leaves me cash flow or whoever $231. Now you got to take out the HOA if you're going to keep it as a rental. This wouldn't apply as a rental anyway. Your borrower is going to pay the HOA, but $231 a month cash flow. What else is here? Because the deal just gets better and better, in my opinion. So the two numbers I want to look at on this bottom line right here is how much am I making while we call it gap funding, while my private money lender is being paid back? Because we have a 180-month PML loan, okay, and we have a 180-month balloon to my seller. So even though I say I can control it for as long as I choose to, which is a true statement, I'm going to model this for 180 months because there's going to have to be a balloon that gets paid off. Now, could I pay it with cash and keep the back end? Yes, but for illustration purposes, we're just going to say the game's over in 180 months, okay? Because I'm never going to let my buyer I sell it to pay me off early unless they pay me cash. Well, then I take the payoff that I get from them, pay off my underlying debt. The difference is my profit, okay? So let's see here. So let's go to so 231 cash flow for the 180 months. Not a lot of money, but that's not what we're doing the deal for. If we're able to get longer than that, it goes to $987 a month. Now remember, we're doing this from a standpoint of long term. Okay. One second. I'm just looking at this real quick. So let's go to the next screen and let's look at the profit analysis. I always talk about using 120 months. Okay. That's on on sub-tube acquisitions. Okay. Even though we're going to still turn around and sell it on a wrap. If our debt is bank debt, meaning we're buying it with bank debt and not seller carryback debt, then we're doing 120 months as my projection. Will we go longer than 120 months? Possibly. But those are the numbers that we ultimately use. Okay. So when I have a seller financing deal, I want to use 180 months, even though I know I'm going to probably get longer than that. Okay. So when you go, hey, Nick, why are you using 180 months? That's the reason why. Okay. So I'm using 180 months on a seller financing deal. So what does that mean? So it means if I model it for 180 months, $7,200 is my cash now. What is cash now? It's how much cash I have coming in net after I sell my deal on a wrap to my wrap buyer. That's the net cash that I get in my front pocket after all the closing costs are paid, marketing fees are paid, title policies, seller concessions, all of that. Okay. That's how much I make. My cash flow over the next 180 months is $41,713. My 180-month payoff is another $115,000. Okay. So the total profitability on this deal over this term is $164,053. And the net monthly recurring revenue on average over that time period comes out to be $911 a month. Okay. fully leveraged, 100% leveraged, not a nickel out of my pocket. Unless I choose to pay myself, the private money lender, this is the deal. Okay. I will tell you right now, I stopped counting. So when I say this number, understand, I think it's actually higher. I stopped counting at about 1,200 creative financing transactions. I've done way more than that. And I've helped others and partnered with many hundreds and hundreds of others. Of all the ones that I've had under my jurisdiction, I've only had one buyer out of all 1,800, 2,000 creative financing deals that we sold on wrap mortgages. Only had one buyer ever pay off a mortgage with cash. Only one. So you do the math on it. The likelihood, is it possible? Absolutely. Is it probable? Probably not. And why is this important? It's important because I don't want them to pay off my debt. Why would I ever want this deal to go away? And I'll show you here in a second. And the reason I bring this up, and the reason why you paid it off, because it was an $80,000 property 7 years ago. That same $80,000 property 7 years ago is now worth $200,000. Well, a lot less money to be, a lot less people have $200,000 to pay off debt than they do at 80. But let me show you this. This is based on 180. This is probably the worst case scenario on this deal. Let's just say I go to 20 years. Okay, people popping in on me. Let's say I go to 20 years. Now the total profitability is almost $250,000. What if I can make this go full term? And this is really, really important. It's worth $323,000. People go, well, the buyer will never go full term. Well, probably that's true, but why can't I lend it to another buyer? We have two independent transactions here, guys, okay? This is really, really important, okay? Really important. People that aren't watching this call, I can't really believe I'm even going this path, but whatever, I don't really care. Guys, there's two different sides of the equation, okay? There's the liability side, $230,000 at 2%. When I do my deals, this is like a loan to me, okay? It's like a personal loan. I am agreeing to pay my seller basically a finance of $185,000 in this example by giving him $45,000 cash. He's agreed to let me pay him 2% over the next 180 months. What I do with the property is irrelevant. This is a loan. Where can I go get a loan at 2%? You can't. Okay. Not any different on a sub two. I have less options. Okay. So when I get this kind of deal in my pipeline and it becomes available, this is like a loan. So I have a loan over here that I'm paying 2% on, and then I'm selling it over here for 9.95. I'm arbitraging. Why in the hell would I ever let this go away? Give me one good reason why I would ever want to get rid of a 2% mortgage loan, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, anybody got one? Throw it in the chat. I mean, I would love to know what it is. Okay. Because there isn't one as far as I know. Okay. Because here's what's going to end up happening. This is what banks do. Guys, you got to think, act, and be a bank. Bank of America, let's just say that this is Bank of America. Let's just play it like this is a bank loan. Let's just say this is a seller. The seller did this and he got a 2% bank loan, Bank of America. Now he's selling it to me. Okay. 5 years later, and I'm playing the retail side of the equation. Now I go to the bank as the borrower. I get a bank loan at 7%. This loan gets paid off. Okay. So this was originally a 30-year loan. 5 years goes by, it gets paid off. The bank writes a new loan to me. What happens to the term? It resets to 30 years again. So the bank got paid 5 years already. Here comes John, whoever, to buy a new property. Guess what? Another 30 years. So now the bank's got 5 years in the bank and another 30 years on paper. So now 10 years goes by. Okay. Nick sells the property to George. Okay. Nick gets a payoff from the bank. Bank gets paid off. George has to get another loan. What's George do? Typically gets another traditional bank loan for 30 years. The bank's now got 15 years in the bank, 5 on the first deal, 10 on the second, and now has another 30-year note. You guys see where this is going? Banks never die. They live forever. Okay. They'll keep playing this game all year, all forever. Sure, I'll lend you for 7 years, pay it off. I'm going to put under again. It's the gift that just keeps on giving. It's not a 30-year term. It's only a 30-year term on that one piece of paper, but then it resets. Guys, when you understand how this works and why, there's a reason why banks don't own real estate. It's exactly what I just got done explaining to you. Okay. If you don't understand it, learn it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. And the reason why I bring this up, because whether you're a wholesaler or a realtor or an investor, you need to understand how this works, because this you can leverage and you can structure these deals using this software to get maximum value. Long as you know how to structure and you know there's a buyer that wants this kind of stuff, you can get maximum assignment fees. That's it. So that's this one deal. I'm going to open it up to questions here in a second. So this deal right here is going to yield, let's go back to the 180 months, 164,000. Hell, if I put 120, it's still $190,000. Okay. So if somebody wanted this deal, I didn't run the rental numbers on it. You might get, break even on cash flow and have a free and clear asset in 20 years for $400,000 with depreciation. That's nothing wrong with that either. Just not what we do. So again, this property is available right now. If you're interested in this at 2:30, just send an email to support@nickthenoteguy.com. LV, if you're available, put it in the chat. Okay. If you don't know how to structure these deals and you don't have the experience in this level of this, Mike Geftis, is Mike on the call, Elvia? I can't see everybody right now. I'm not sure he's on the call or not, but could you put the link to his Zoom call that he does? I think it's tonight actually. And he really helps people through the initial steps of this process to get to this point and figure out how to structure the deal, how to use the software, all that stuff. So we'll put that into the chat as well. So this is the first deal. So I'm not going to spend as much time on the next two deals because I want to get through them and open it up to general Q&A. But let's see what we have in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see. Go back to the top here. Let's see here. How can I send you deals that fit your buy criteria? Also, you pay full commission to agents on creative deals. So look, guys, everything I look at, it has to be in the software, because the software is a complex setup of running multiple amortization tables. For example, these are all amortization tables. So this has 4 amortizations on it right now. You might have 6 or 7 amortizations. So number one, the question is, how do you get paid commission? Well, that's what this is right here. Put your fee on one of this is all. You can use other and say, hey, I want $2,000. Want to put it in other. Okay, put it in other. When you do the model, or just really it's the agent or the assignment fee. So that, I don't know if that answers your question, but you put it here, then you solve the equation and you know if you have a deal or not. I will tell you this, if you're going to solve these deals, are you going to solve for maximum value? There's a couple of things that you need to understand if you're not going to stay in these deals and you want to move them quick onto the investor side. Okay. Somebody wants to come in and take this over. Number one, on the funding, you need this to be cash neutral at worst. Okay. This one's positive cash flow. That's a benefit. Okay. It could be lower. That's number one. Number two, you want this number right here on the monthly net recurring on average to be at least $800. I'm not saying it can't be less. I'm just saying this gives you the highest probability to get maximum value and profit and price for what you're off. And the third thing is that if this is a seller financing deal, I would say this needs to be 180 months and $150,000 minimum. And if let's assume this was a sub 2 deal at 120 months, this needs to be at least $100,000. Okay. And I'll show that again on when I do the third one, which is no which is also a sub two. What other questions do we have here? Do you pay full commission to the agents on creative deals? So there again, let's just say, well, you know what? I'll get to that when we get to the creative deal because it'll show that information in there. It doesn't matter who pays it. It comes out of the deal. Whether you pay it to the seller and he takes it and pays it to the agent, or you deduct it from the seller and you treat it as a cost of doing business, the numbers are the numbers. Okay. So I think I'll show that one to you when there's an agent involved on a sub two deal. Okay. Or a seller financing deal. It doesn't change anything. Do you find your owner occupied buyers before you close? I typically do not. Okay, because I've done 1,800 of these transactions personally, and to this day, knock on wood, I haven't had a property I haven't been able to find a buyer for. Okay, does that mean I'm not going to find a buyer tomorrow? Maybe. Is it harder to find buyers today than it was 3 or 4 years ago? Yes. We're in the middle of the election, there's a lot of other variables that go in, but at the end of the day, there's two things I look at. One, there's still a housing shortage. Okay, so the housing shortage is beneficial to us. Number two, it really boils down to affordability and can we get a buyer into becoming a homeowner at a price compatible to what they would pay for rent, assuming they could rent or they can find a place to rent. And when I show you, let me show you this. The third action, let me show you that property. I didn't show you the pictures on this thing here. So let's go to, might have to go to Zillow to see it. For some reason, this doesn't show it up here. Here's the values from CoreLogic and Quantarium 240, 246. What zip code is this? This is 75088. So here, so on the ZHVI, to answer your question, how do I find this is another tool that I personally use to determine the probability and how the speed I'll be able to sell. I have a $250,000 property. It's a townhouse, not a single family, so it takes a little bit of a hit for that. But look at the housing value for the median price in that same zip code, $369,000. My property is $100,000 less. So if somebody's looking for the school district, for example, the median is 369, they're getting to come in at 250. That's a good deal. Here's the other thing I look at. 32 days. The average home price, 369, up a little bit, it's fairly flat. There's a reason why things are flat because people are handcuffed. They can't buy a house because they can't sell it because they can't get money, a lot of other factors. But doesn't take away out of the equation. 32 days. Okay. Well, that's pretty damn quick. So finding an owner finance buyer theoretically is easier because there's more people that need seller financing than can go get a traditional bank loan. Okay. So it depends. Now, this is a tertiary market, for example, and somebody brought this deal to me, and let's say it's Abilene, Texas. Okay. And let's just say that these numbers were all still in line. I probably would not close on it before I find my buyer. Okay. Because it's supply and demand. The population's less, there's less qualified buyers, a lot of things. Could I, if I was going to take it in a smaller market like that, I would probably have to have a better deal. Okay. I'd want it to be an extra $50,000 in perpetuity, for example. Make that adjustment too. Okay. How do we get access to the software? So you guys, all this stuff is at nickthenoteguy.com. Okay. This is my stuff. Okay. This is my stuff. So in here, we have the deal evaluator, but if you go down to strategic partners, okay, USA Note Pro, that's on creating, buying, and selling notes. If you have a note that you want to buy, sell, or create, that's where you would go. The Academy, which I just said, Michael is managing and handling all the deal structuring on how to generate the cash now, cash flow, and cash later. He is the one that's facilitating that. USA Home Partners is a nationwide transaction management solutions company. This is what, look, guys, this is what I've been doing for 20, almost 24 years. Okay. This is the same stuff that I'm sharing you with right now is the same stuff in system and process that I sold to a federally chartered bank. The same transaction management, same note creation. The only difference is I didn't have the software that's available now. It's all done on spreadsheets. Well, let me tell you something. We missed hundreds of deals because we couldn't structure them correctly with a high degree of confidence through spreadsheets. It just doesn't work. Okay. Because amortization is not linear. And just when you have multiple, there's way too many human components to make a mistake. Okay. And then you have USA lead machine. That's where this lead comes in. The lead comes from there. Again, I'm not going to get into the details on it, but if you want these kind of deals to come in, I got 3 of them right here, all come through the outbound that goes in. Oh, you know what I will tell you? Anyone that's on this call or watching this call that is a member of Sub 2 and has actually gone through the training and actually has done deals, we have opened up another JV partner program with that utilizing USA lead machine. No cost. You just got to qualify, meaning you have to have gone through the training, you have to be able to acquire and or disposition. So if you have the ability to do that, then send Elvia an email. I think we did a post. We got about 67 markets that we're in. I think that we're looking at about 40 right now. And if you're in one of those markets, Elvia can get that to you. And just send her an email, support@nickthenoteguy.com. What market you're in, if you're interested, there's no cost. We pay for all the leads, we pay for all the management, all the maintenance. We use everything's us. Your job is to become an acquisitions and disposition person for whatever market that you're in. We provide all the other stuff. And the benefit of all this is that you get to leverage everything that we do, everything that we've done. You get to be part of 2,000 creative financing transactions. You get to leverage our LLCs on the contract. So when they go vet who the buyer is, they're vetting an entity that sold to a federally chartered bank, not you that sold or bought 3 transactions since you started the deal. This is why we win, because we have credibility in the space. We have attorneys internally on our staff. We have compliance officers. We have underwriters. We have servicing. We've already built all this under the umbrella. Okay. No one else has this. No one. Not anybody else. I'm not mentioning names, but there's no one that does it like this, because no one is sold to a federally chartered bank that I'm aware of. Okay. And until they do, they haven't. And they can think what to do, whatever they want. This is what we do. It's really everything we're talking about is what happens after the fact. This is why we have had 0 due on sales. One of the reasons we've had 0 due on sales that have gone to foreclosure. We haven't. We just don't. It's not. Is it possible? Could it happen tomorrow? Sure. Is it probable? Highly not. Okay. Because of the way we structure the note. Because if I structure these notes correctly, if I structure them correctly, I can go leverage the debt that I created with my wrap buyer and pay off Wells Fargo if I had to. Could do it like that. It's the whole reason why we structure this way. It's why we write 2 notes, all that stuff. All right, let's see what else we have in the chat. Get access to software. You can go to Deal Evaluator, 30-day free. If you want to come in and you're a JV partner and you've gone through any other people's there's a lot of people that teach Sub 2. If you've gone through the training and you've negotiated a Sub 2 transaction, and you got a contract and or you've disposed it, reach out there, tell us the market you're in, and we'll send you a follow-up email. And we're going to do a discovery call next week. Happy to have you in, 0 cost. In fact, you can't even buy your way in. We got people go, well, I want to just pay to be in. That's not how we're doing it. Okay. So that's what Deal Evaluate. And the Creative Realtor Network is another entity that we have where we integrate investors, buyers, sellers, lenders, and realtors to manage creative financing transactions from acquisition to disposition. Okay. So let's see here. We're Marzina says, could you analyze my deal? Marzina, do you have it in the software? Have you downloaded the software? Have you put the software in here? Because I do not have the time to integrate it into the software, but that's what you can do, and then we can show that as well. Okay. Or one better, you can bring it to the call tonight with Michael, and he can definitely help you with that as well. Okay. So I'm not sure. Marzina, do you have it? Have you downloaded the software and input it into it yet? Yes or no?
No,
And where is the property located?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay. Sub two or seller finance?
Sub to some now, some later.
Okay. Some now, some later. And do you have a copy of the mortgage statement?
Yes.
Okay. Go get the software. It didn't cost anything. Register for it. You got to still register to get access. You'll get instant access, 30 days.
Mhm.
Go get on the call tonight with Michael. He will help you structure that deal and tell you what you need to do and what the exit would be for it. Okay.
All right.
We just put it in that's Central Time, Elvia, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Central Time. Great. Michael was great last week. Yeah. So guys, take advantage of him because he's way better at that stuff than I am. Okay. I'm not doing it. Nazir says the link is not working. Nazir, link
It
for
is working.
okay.
Yeah, I'm texting with him and he's
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll make sure you guys get it. Is it the same link as the sub two Zoom? No, this is the sub two Zoom right here. Right, technically right now. The other link was just posted in the chat. You can see it right there. She just posted it again. What's the URL of the screen you are on right now? NickTheNoteGuy.com. Right up here. NickTheNoteGuy.com. Okay.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I got it fixed. For some reason, it kept going to a Facebook page. So really quick, tonight, the call with Mike, that's not the JV program. That's like for
No, the inner circle
like
call is the inner circle call is coming up next. So if you're already in the community,
uh-huh.
that's the inner circle. That's what we're doing it after this call. What Michael does is it's what we used to do previous. So Michael's taking it over and he's working. It's he's got some JV stuff that he does as well, but there's no charge to get on that call initially and go from there. But that's what he runs. So he'll help you with deal
Right.
structuring,
So,
questions and stuff.
okay. So
All right.
basically, I just need to use the software and then submit it like in your market, like Dallas and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, if you bring it, we'll bring it in here and we'll do it. We'll put it on Deal or No Deal Live and see if we can move the thing. That's the whole purpose of it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
But I'm not
got
going to
it.
do it for
Okay,
you,
cool.
right? So you need to put it in or send it over
Right.
and stuff like that.
Exactly. So I can send that to the support email and submit it. Okay. I just want to make sure. But I'll be on
Yeah,
that call
what we'll
tonight.
do is we'll have you come on the next call and we'll go through the process. We'll have you take screen control and we'll play around with the numbers and stuff like that. So we usually do it on the inner circle. Michael will do that tonight too. The next time we'll do it, if we have any deals specifically, we will definitely break that on and see. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Missed the link to the website. She just put it back in there again. So the deal evaluator website, just LV, just have them go to Nick the Note Guy for anything and they can see all the other stuff. Okay. And then Mojo Michael will be on there. And matter of fact, we need to get that added under the CDM Academy so they can find it there as well. All right, what else do we have? I think that is all the questions. So does anybody have anything relative to this first deal? And then we're gonna see it. Does anybody couple of things because a lot of people are watching this live on YouTube, they'll come back and watch it later. So there's a couple different opportunities here. Opportunity number one, somebody could come in and be the buyer of this property and they would need $66,500. That's option number one, and they can control this process. And we would help stay in the back end of the deal, and we could either partner and JV with them and do a rev share on the back end, or we can just facilitate the transaction if somebody wanted. That's the first option. So you had $66,500. You could do the math on it. Let's just see what that comes out to be. Let's just see here. Let me see if I can solve it real quick. So what's 755 So 755 plus 231 plus 231 is 986 times 12. 11, and divide that by 66,500. That's a 17% cash on cash return, getting an 11% return. So if you did that at zero, I'm just going to see something real quick. If you really want to know true cash on cash return, I do zero. And does that change that number? Let's see. I think it should be the same number. I think it's still the same. 316. Actually, we'll change this down to. I'm just trying something here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, do 1,000. So 988. So about $988 times 12. Same. Yeah. So that's what it is. So I don't know that I would personally do that. I would rather just put this in the first lien position. Let me go back to what I had it at. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Okay. So if you're a private money lender and you're seeing this and you want to, or you have money and you want to partner on it, and you want an 11% return in a first lien position secured by a $250,000 property, let me know. Okay. This is what the deal is, because you're getting a first lien position against 250. Your investment to value. A lot of people don't know what that is. Don't use that term. 250. Your investment to value is 26%. What does that mean? It means I'm investing $66,000, but I'm protected against a $250,000 property. My investment to value, a lot of people know what loan to value is, or LTV. An investor or a note buyer is looking also at investment to value. So that's what it is. I mean, usually if you can get an investment to value of sub 80% and get a double-digit return, you're killing it. So you're getting a double-digit return and you're at 26%. Oh my God. It's like free money. You're hoping that I default so you could take the property back and take over the 2%. Good luck with that happening, by the way. All right, so let's see here. So Kelsey said, I don't know, it's the season, Kelsey. I don't know which is which. I invest in with the interest. I don't have 665 until December. What are my options? Well, we can figure something else. We can figure something else out. We can restructure it. We could use short-term money. We could JV. Send an email to support at nickthenoteguy.com and we can figure it out and see what we can come up with. Okay. All right. Super. All right. Let's get into what's the next one? Oh, this another. We're going to go to another seller financing deal. I mean, when I hear people say I'm not getting deals, I can't find them. It just drives me nuts. That's why we put the whole JV partner program together with people that have sub 2 training, either from, Pace Morby trains people. Pace is a good friend. I like what he teaches and does. Brad Smotherman does it. He does it. William Tingle teaches it. There's a lot of people that teach it. Now, what I don't like is the back end exit with most of these guys, right? So that's why we come in and we want to make sure that we protect the integrity of the transaction, not just on the front side, but on the back side, because I'm looking at keeping this property in play for 15, 20, maybe 30 years. I'm going to damn make sure that it's done correctly. Okay. I'm not trusting it's some rando attorney or some random title company or underwriter or compliance officer. I don't trust any of them. I have 2 attorneys in Texas I trust, probably 5 collectively that I trust nationwide, which is not a lot for what we do. A handful of underwriters, a handful of servicers, and the rest we're figuring it out. So let's go to the next one here on go to valuations. It's on Plumwood. This is a good deal too. Man. Okay, here we go. Plumwood. Here's the address right here, 1451. We'll pull it up in a second. 485 is the value. Rent value seems a little bit low. So this is not a rental. So guys, if you're a wholesaler and you go, well, how can anybody make this a cash flowing rental? Here, I'm going to show you something real quick. I'm going to come back to this. I'll show you why this doesn't. Who's right? Here's my cash numbers. Who wants to write a check for $1,282 a month? That's the negative net cash flow in this deal when you figure in the cost of capital to get in it. Who wants that deal? There's not enough equity in the deal to do that, okay? That's why these deals are so valuable when you can structure, because they're deals that everybody's passing on. The 1,800 deals that we've done, I bet you I can count on two hands how many have I negotiated directly with the seller. They all come either from a wholesaler or an agent that can't figure out how to get a wholesale deal done or a retail deal done. And then this is what we do. I know how to do it. That's what we do. I'm showing you guys right now how to do it. This doesn't work as a look. I'll show you right now. You have to offer this property $339,000. Good luck. Good luck getting a seller to take $339,000 on a $485,000 house. Okay, not gonna happen. You might. It happens on. Is it possible? Yes. Probable. Highly improbable. Okay, let's go back to this deal. Okay, Plumwood. Look it up. We'll go through the pictures in a second. 485 as is value, repair value 485. Between 465 and 485. I'm just going off the numbers, not my numbers, is what I pulled off, different sites. I think we'll see them here in a second. Owner financing, again, another owner financing deal. Okay. The funny part about this deal, let me pull this up. We ended up retrading it back and forth. We couldn't figure out why they weren't going to take this deal. I go, what the hell is going on? They said they want to do the deal, but then they come back and they turn down the offer. So we go back and forth on all this stuff, and all they really wanted was the initial payment was like $1,700, and they really wanted $2,000. I go, well, why didn't you tell me this? I asked you what you wanted. Do you want your payment? Do you want your term? Do you want your interest rate? Do you want your balloon? What you want your price? What do you want? Pick two of them. I don't care. Pick three of them. I don't care. We just want $2,000 a month. So we came in and we made them even a better offer than $2,000. We're going to give them $2,300 a month now. What did we get in return? Well, I'm going to show you. So they were actually only asking for 60. I raised the purchase price. We got agent fee and wholesaler fee in here. Closing cost is fixed. Not going to negotiate that. And they wanted $50,000. Well, I couldn't make the numbers work at 50, so I went down to 40. But I gave them more monthly payment. I gave them an extra $500 a month versus what we started. We were like $1,800, went to $223 a month. Cash went down a little bit, and I had to get them to get me to a 15-year balloon. So here's another funky number. This is, guys, no one says your loans have to be 360 months. Okay, you can make them whatever the hell you want. This one, because we solved, so we took the loan amount we know is 430. We knew what the payment amount was going to be was 2,300. Okay. And we saw 200. I don't know how we came with 248. I think we ended up solving for the number, but 2.86% is the rate on seller carry, 248-month term with 180-month balloon. 15-year balloon, very similar to the last deal. When we first started negotiating this, the balloon was like 6 or 7 years, but the price was lower. So we raised the price, we raised the payment, we raised the interest a little bit. I think it was 2.5. Raised, it might have been 2. Raised the rate, and we raised the cash to we lowered the cash to sell a little bit. So but this is what it took to make the deal work. So let's look at the rest of this deal. I did one note on this one. It was just easier to calculate back and forth. 10% down still, but I'm putting the sale price at 465. I'm doing this intentionally, even though I think I could sell it for more. I'm modeling it conservatively, 465. Okay, 10% down. There's the finance amount, but check this out. Remember I said 9.95% on the last deal? Look, I'm modeling this at 7.95%. Why would I do that? Well, it's a $500,000 house first of all. Second of all, I don't want to lose my buyer to a refinance in 2 years. The deal doesn't work for me that way, okay? But what does work for me, if I sell it to my buyer at 7.95%, just a little bit higher than bank rate. And if they're good borrowers and good payers, in a year from now, if bank rates go down to 5.5%, I can recast this thing out again at 5.5% when I got 2.86 on the front side locked in. That 2.86 is locked in for 15 years, whether the seller likes it or not. Because of the way we create the paper and the note and the deal structuring, the subordination clauses, the substitution clauses, all that stuff in there, okay? So 7.95, could I get 8.5? Maybe. Will I maybe try? Maybe. I can always refinance it later. Payment is 3,056. Third party, now I need $78,500. Okay, where am I going to get that from? I'm going to get it from my private money lender. And here, I think we already have one lined up. If we keep it, it's 10% on a 248-month term, which is the full term of this deal, okay? Even though there's a balloon, I just modeled in here. We can change it in a second here. And I just want to solve for it. I was solving for 0. But I can write a first lien for 248 months, not a problem. There'll be a little balloon on it too. This puts it at almost a 0 cash flow. So this is the bare minimum that a lot of investors may initially look at, but I wanted to show it this way because I want to show you the value in this deal. $6.30 a month is nothing to get excited about, okay? But I got 10% on that. But let's just see what this back end of this deal looks like, okay? When I go out to here, and I saw for the 240 months, I can do 248, I guess. 248. The total value in this deal is $256,000, guys, in perpetuity. Very little of it's cash now, very little of it's cash flow. The majority it's in the balloon. Okay. But guess what? Let's just say my buyer wants to sell it or refinance it in 5 years. I don't know. Let's put 5 years in, see what it is. I lose $7,254. Okay, well, guess what? Can't do that. Okay, but let's do 10 years, 120 months, because we got the debt's almost be paid off on the, oops, excuse me 1 second. You guys, you can use this to negotiate, still worth $70,000. But I control the hammer on a seller finance deal. And if you guys don't know how to control that, then you're missing out. That's what you really need to understand. And really all that means is having the right TCs, the right attorneys, the right underwriters, the right note creators, the right servicers, and insurance providers to build this in to make sure that your deal is protected. Okay. So this is another good deal. I mean, this is 240. I'm gonna make sure my number's right here. Give me 1 second. Property purchase, 248 is the term. Acquisition funding. I'm just double checking some of this. Properties purchase. Oh, I know why. Because I changed this up. I went down to 465. I'm going to go back to the 485 number, which is what we'll probably sell it for, seller finance. Let me solve this again. That's why it was off a little bit. Go back to the funding. Change this to 240 because that's the balloon on this. Payment. On actually it's 248, 240. So it's about $1 negative. Let's see what this comes out to be. $394,000. Who has a problem just putting this into an account and letting it mature and someday getting a check paid? I don't. That's why I do it. Okay. So that's 20 years from now. I might not even be living in 20 years. And so somebody else will get that. But you know, look, put 100 months in there. Still worth $86,000. There's your number. Okay. So this is a good deal. So let's go look at this house real quick. So let's look at this house on let's see here. Let's go up to here. Oop, I did not want to do that. Crapper. Let's see here. What is it on real? Let's look at the pictures. There's the house. They just did a pretty extensive remodel job on it. Has a lot of updates already done on it. It's a clean house. You don't have to do anything in this house. Okay. I don't know that much about this area, but I do know if I open this map up right here. I scroll out. Here's 45 right here. Anybody that knows Houston. Here's the airport. Here's the Beltway. This is getting up close to the Champions area. Anybody in the Houston area familiar with Houston? Who would say that this corridor is a pretty desirable area? Pretty sure that it is. I've never lived there, but I know Played a lot of golf in Houston. And I will tell you, all the good golf is right here. You got tons of great golf right in this area. A lot. So anyway, that's another deal. So let me just recap it real quick. If anybody's interested in Houston, wants to have it as a, hey, this would be a great homestead, by the way. Get in there for 60 grand and never have to worry about moving because you got a 2.5% mortgage to sell a carryback note. So where was I at? Oh, I had to go. Shit, I closed it. I have to open it up again. Sorry. Go back to it. So you're looking at about 60. Don't just give me the exact numbers. In this deal, if you're interested in, again, let's just recap it. This was Plumwood. Where are you? There's Plumwood. This number was 78,500. So if you're a private money lender and want to be a lender on this deal, first lien position, you're looking at 78.5 against 500, about 485. 78 divided by 485. You're at about 16% investment to value. 16%. You hope I get abducted by aliens. Yeah, if you're lending the money on that. So honestly, at 16%, 10% is a pretty damn attractive return. Could you get 8 or 9? Probably. Maybe not on a 20-year term, but you could get pretty close. Okay. So this is the deal. This would be a really good deal for somebody that wanted to live in it and wanted to come up with the cash out of pocket. They couldn't get a bank qualified because why would you ever go? You got 2.86%. Hell, Jesus couldn't get 2.86 right now. So there it is. So you're a PML and you want to be a lender on this, reach out to support@nickthenoteguy.com. If you want this deal for your portfolio and you want to wrap it, we can help you with all that as well. Just send an email to support. So the last one I want to go through real quick here, and we'll open up to let me see if there's any questions regarding any of this. And I'm going to do one more. I think we did it a couple weeks ago, but I think we had an error in the calculations. I want to bring it back up. And if somebody's interested, please let me know because it will not be available probably past tomorrow. So let's see here. I invest in real. Okay, so hey, Nick and Mike, I have a new property build in Crawley. I have a renter in right now. I bought it as an in buyer, so I paid a little high for it. Rent is just under break even. With something like this work? Yeah, I would turn. I don't have any rentals by choice. Sometimes I get a rental when I buy a portfolio, but I would say, Pauline, I would get with Michael on the call tonight and run this into the model and see if you become a lien lord, not a landlord, because you're a landlord right now. Become a bank and see if you can still generate cash flow without having to do with all the crap that you're dealing with right now. So you have to just solve the equation and see if you can find a buyer for that. That's what I would typically do. Can you do a partial pay of the underlying debt in the event of a due on sale instead of selling the first note? So Hans, that's why we write 2 notes. Okay. So when we get to that side of it, when we do the wrap and it goes to underwriting and we come back in and we help structure this stuff for you, assuming you're using our team that help do the if you're using somebody else, you're on your own. But that's why we create 2 notes, because what we're going to do is we're going to figure out strategically what that first lien amount needs to be and what the second lien needs to be. So that in the event of a sale of the note, partial hypothecation, we don't discount too much. Okay. We only want to, you don't lose if you don't discount. You lose if you discount. Okay. So you could also go sell a partial and if you have enough equity in it to do the same thing. But it's really hard to answer that question without seeing what the exact deal is, understanding what the underlying debt is, all that stuff. But yes. Darren said on owner finance, do you not factor in carrying costs for 6 months until you find a buyer? It depends, Darren. If it's my deal, if I'm going to hold out for maximum value, I'm going to put 6 months in, but you don't have to. I just showed you that, like, if we go to this right here, 32 days. I always look at things very conservatively. Let's see what this one was. Oh, that's not it. Let's see. What's the zip code? 77014. What's Live Oak? It just depends. Okay. Depends on who's put the money in. It depends on where it's coming from. Okay. If I'm partnering in and I'm borrowing in, I can put in the deal. I'm borrowing because I don't ever want to owe anybody any money, and I don't want to freak out and have to worry about how I'm going to make my underlying debt payment. Okay, that's why I do it. It's expensive to do it that way. Doesn't mean you have to. A lot of people don't. Just depends on where you have the capital coming from. We have enough stuff coming in cash flow on deals now. Don't typically have to carry it, but I highly recommend carrying a minimum of 3 months. How can I get into JV program, Nazir? If you already have some sub-2 training, just reach out to support at nickthenoteguy.com. Tell Elvia what the market that you're in is, where you were trained, what your experience level is, acquisition and or disposition. We'll get you a follow-up email that tells you what we need from you. And then we're going to do a discovery call next week. Again, like I said, we don't charge anything to be a JV partner. It's a 50-50 split on most situations. You know, we provide all the infrastructure, all the leads, we do contracts actually. We actually get the initial contract set. It's up to you to go finalize the negotiation and then figure out how we're going to dispo it. We even give you the software. We can get the software to do that too. Okay. Are there prepayment penalties? So I'm not really sure when you say prepayment penalties. When we write a wrap mortgage to a new buyer, we never have a prepayment penalty ever. Can't have a prepayment penalty to an owner occupant. Can't have it to an investor, not to an owner occ. Okay, very dangerous. You can't have balloons either. Okay, don't recommend it. Don't need it. To be quite honest with you. Okay, because think about it. If they're gonna, why would there be a prepayment? Why would they pay it off? Because they got a better rate, typically, right? Okay, so why can't I be the bank with the lower rate if I choose to keep them in the deal to protect my 2.86% seller financing debt? It's exactly what I would do. Okay, so and if I want all the cash back out, then I'm happy not to have a prepayment penalty. I want them to refinance. I check the crime apps. Okay, I'm not sure Ellie's referring to this here. There's crime everywhere. Matter of fact, the area that I live in, there's a neighborhood right next to mine in Rough Hollow, and it's gated, and they've had, I can't tell you how much shit they've had broken into over there. They're just coming in, breaking stuff, stealing stuff. It happens everywhere. So, but we're in Texas, we carry guns, so I would check the gun permits in that zip code. That might be a better thing to potentially check. See how the crime rate is there. But yeah, you could check it too. But here's why I don't care about crime rates. This is a good question. I'm not renting the property. I don't care what the crime rate is relatively if I'm a bank. I love all these questions because let me ask a question. Does Bank of America give two rips what the crime rate is when they lend you the money to buy that house? Do they go check crime rates? I'm just curious. Anybody a lender? Anybody underwrite for a bank? Have you ever checked crime rate? I think the answer is no. Why is that? They don't care because the asset is the collateral. It's your responsibility to protect it as the buyer. As a renter is a different story. As a homeowner, your job is to make the mortgage payment, whether your house gets broken in every day or not. Your job at the buyer is to make sure you don't buy a house that's going to get broken in every day. That's the difference. Okay. So, all right. Pauline said no. That's exactly the answer. Again, we're talking about being banks here. All right. Last thing, I want to go through this quickly. Let me pull up Live Oak here. Let me find it here real quick. Let me show this to you real quick. Give me 1 second here. Trying to figure out something real quick. Let's see here. View. All gallery. Hang on 1 second. Just trying to change screen.
Nick, we have members waiting on the other call.
That's okay. Just tell them we'll be there in a minute. If you want
Okay.
to go, I'm almost done. Be 5 minutes. They should have been on this call anyway, Elvia.
There are
So-
some of them in here, but not all of them.
So they'll be on there right when I do. Okay, super. All right, let's go back and recap this other one because we had a lot of. Let me go back to my share. Let me find my screen. All right, I'm looking for Live Oak. Live Oak. This is a sub 2 deal. We went through it once. We had some incorrect numbers in there, and when I adjusted them, it changed the dynamics of this deal. 265 is the value. This one is a sub 2 deal. It's in Terrell, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. It's a 10-year-old construction, I think. It's a hybrid deal. So the balance is fairly low on this, which is I like on a sub 2 deal if I can get them, because I only have to pay the bank if in event of a due on sale, $160,000. So cash agent 4778, assignment fee 16, 4,500 closing. So I got 6,000 in here. So to Darren's point, I got 3 months holding on this one. Actually 4 months because the payment is 1520-ish. Okay. But look at this. Check this out. The payment is only 672, 2.25%. 2.25. I had to double check it. I thought, what the hell? How does a 2.25%? It's a new conventional loan. It's not even FHA. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a VA loan. This is a VA loan, not an FHA. There's no PMI. 2.25%. Smoking deal. I already did the seller exit interview with it. 2.25. Look at this. 316 months remaining on this deal. So it's almost been paid down in 4 years. Seller's going to carry back 33.9 at $300 a month, no interest, for 113 months. That's all he's taking his equity, the majority. Well, he's taking 20,000 now, and he's taking the rest of his equity in the form of payments. Some now, some later. Some people call it hybrid. Other people call it that way. That's what it is. What else do we have here? So sale price 265, 10% down. Again, Texas sub $300,000. We're at 9.95 on the modeling. I just did 2 this week at 10.5%. I did one in Everman, if you know where Dallas is. It's like Arlington, Fort Worth, southeast or southwest, and another one, Balch Springs, which is sort of like Mesquite, both at 10.5%. Here's the payment on that. So this deal, we need 51,278. Now this is going to have to go in the second lien position. So our rate's going to be a little bit higher. So we have the rate here at 15% because we're getting 15% money, 72 months. And we could probably go down to 60 maybe. Let's see here. No, 60 is a little bit steep. So maybe 66. We're just going to keep it at 72. We got 72 months on it already that we can get 15%. So here's the deal. $27 a month, big deal, while cash being paid back to our gap lender. Then it goes to $1,100 a month. Okay. The reason why there's less cash flow in this deal, because we're deferring it because we have a high equity position on this deal. Higher. We got almost $20,000 in equity. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're not making a payment on it, it adds up. So here's this deal. 120 months, $171,901 on this deal in 120 months. You want to go and say, hey, what happens if the bank calls it due in 5 years? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Still worth $88,000. Hey, what if the bank calls the note due in three years? Because I do a crappy job of underwriting the buyer, and I didn't vet them, and I didn't do servicing and insurance correctly. Oh no, still worth $55,000. Still a substantial deal. So, real quick, sub 2 deal, solid debt, exit interviews done. If you want to be a private money lender on this deal, 15%, 72 months. You'd make 1,084. If you want to keep this deal, your cash flow is about cash now is about 8,000. Cash flow. See how different these 3 deals are? Remember the first deal? There was no cash flow and a huge, oh, I got it on 360, excuse me. That'd be nice. Let's go back to the 180. I'm sorry, the 120. You have a little hybrid here. You get some cash flow and some cash later. So that's good. So anyway, got sidetracked. So this is a solid deal. Let's see what the cash on cash return is on this one. It's going to be probably pretty good. So you're going to get 1,000. If you keep this for yourself and you use your own 51,000, you got 1,084 plus 27-ish. 1111, divide that by 51,278. 22%. That's only while the money is deployed. Okay, so you get 22%. Then it's technically infinite because you don't have any of your own money in the deal anymore. So If this is a deal that you're interested in, you'd have to come up with 51,278. Your profit analysis looks like this: 8,000 on the wrap buyer, 57 cash flow, payout 106. Total profit on this is 171. We would help you stay in the deal. Make sure you get underwritten. We can even help you try to find that wrap buyer if this is the deal you want. Look at it. If you're interested, go back, send an email to support@nickthenoteguy.com. If you want to be the private money lender on this, do the same. We have it. Let me show you a couple things real quick. Let me show you the actual property. So here's the house. It's vacant now. The seller's already vacated it, but you can see it's pretty clean little house on a big lot. What else do we have down here? Let's go down in here. We have this one didn't show the real estate value, so I had to go into let's go to Zillow. Shows it at 265 right here on the value. Let's go to the housing data. So this is 75160. Hard to find nice houses sub 300,000 in the Metroplex right now. That's why this thing won't last very long. Let's go to here. Last thing we're going to see. Let's see what the average home price is in this zip code. 262. So we're right on the median home price on this. And here's the other number. The last one was 32 days, 39 days. 39 days. Should be able to find a buyer pretty quick with the right terms and the right deal. Okay. Anyway, let me just check questions and we got to wrap over. If you're on the inner circle call, go in there. I'll meet you over there. Highly recommend you go to Michael's call tonight if you need help on this. If you want leads, if you need deals, need help structuring deals, that's the place to go. He can help you with all that. And let's see here. Couple people said in the direct message that they're interested. Guys, just send it to Nick at USA No. I'm sorry, Nick. Support at Nick the Note Guy. I got too many damn emails. Support at nickthenoteguy.com. Elvia will answer your question, get you what you want, and we can get you that deal. Where do you put MIP in the evaluator? You don't. Okay, you just have to. You got to figure that as a cost of doing business if you're doing on a wrap, because you can't pass it on to the end buyer. Okay, so if it's $100 a month, okay, then you gotta solve it, and you got to take. If I'm solving it for 100 months, another $10,000 that comes off the profitability. Next time we do a how can I get in the inner circle? That's it's not really available anymore, Nazir. But if you send Elvia an email, we'll see what there is there. So just send it to support at nickthenoteguy.com. And I think I am out of soap. I think I'm interested in this one. I'm interested now. Okay, got that on there a couple times. I'm not sure which ones we're talking about there. So we've had interest on all of them. So to just go in there and get people on the YouTube, just go to Nick at Nick at, gosh dang it. So Elvie, put it in the chat, support at nickthenoteguy.com, and we'll do it. I gotta go because I'm 15 minutes late. I hate being late. I think we're doing a call again next week. I'm traveling. Guys got anything else? Get on the call tonight. I'm gonna try to make it myself, and hope you guys have a good one. Get some deals done, and hope to see you guys soon. Take care.